The linkage of the speaker's personal life and emotional state to the natural world is not limited, however, to the casuarina tree. For example, the birds and bees singing their one sweet song from the tree's branches provide solace to the poet through the night, while men repose. This suggests that the poet lies sleepless at night and can be soothed only by the rhythms of the natural world. The poem's opening lines describe the grandeur of the casuarina in minute detail, standing erect and wearing the scarf of the creeper that clutches it like a huge python. The opening image, which compares a large vine crawling around the tree to a huge python, might at first seem dark and foreboding, but the image ultimately emphasizes the great strength of the tree itself. For some readers, the tree symbolizes the ancient and venerable culture of India, while the huge encircling vine symbolizes the potentially deadly influence of colonialism. Most immediately, though, the vine itself seems to add a kind of beauty to the tree. The vine, after all, is called a scarf, a word with fairly positive connotations. The tree is a source of life, filled with birds and bees. Though the children who used to play under its branches are long gone, this liveliness that surrounds the tree is further detailed in the second stanza, which tells of a baboon, kokilas, and cows in its vicinity. The crimson flowers that cluster on the boughs of the tree are the red flowers resembling a kind of mistletoe produced by casuarina trees themselves. The flowers are not, in other words, products of the encircling vine. The tree has its own beauty, and the beauty and nourishment provided by the flowers apparently attracts birds and bees, so that the tree, though ancient, seems full of life and full of lovely sounds. In the second stanza, the tree is associated with even more kinds of life, including baboons, both adult and young, that sit or leap or play in its branches, kokila birds that sing in or near it, sleepy cows that walk beneath it, and water lilies that flourish in the broad tank on which the tree casts its shadow. The grey baboon in stanza 2, which sits statue-like alone on top of the tree while watching the sunrise, also reinforces this idea, suggesting that the poet too has watched in solitude as the sun rises behind the casuarina tree. The tree, in other words, is at the center of a complex, harmonious ecosystem, a natural environment in which humans too feel right at home. Still, in the third stanza, the speaker tells us explicitly that it is not because of its magnificence that dear is the casuarina to my soul. Rather, it is because of our memories of our departed siblings. Oru and Abju has died long back. At the thought of their deaths and their past memories, even the tree seems to lament and ushers forth an eerie speech.